Hey guys, what's up? It's munclesonkey and welcome to my new and hopefully improved Zamorak soloing guide. In this guide there are a couple items that have come out fairly recently that are really going to make Zamorak quite a bit easier, and even up to the point where you can pretty much no food Zamorak and stay there as long as you want. No need for prayer potions either if you are at the right requirements, and those are fairly high requirements to reach, so don't really expect that if you're kind of a lower level. But here are some requirements just to get into Zamorak and really start killing him. I have a list of kind of the minimum stuff that you would want to go if you just want to try it for a couple kills, like if you have a death task or something, or if you want to like duo with a friend to learn how. And then if you really want to get into soloing, the recommended stats are on the right hand side. So I would recommend Meizong Zamorak. That's mostly what I'm going to be showing, although I will show a melee setup. Although, unless you are a really low magic level, or you just really don't want to use magic, I would not recommend melee in Zamorak, because magic is going to give you a much easier time of it. And also you want to have at least a summoning level for a war tortoise, although unicorn will be even more helpful, and yak probably the most helpful of all. 70 defense at least to wear like Aram's Barrow's armor or subjugation armor, and 70 HP. You need 70 HP just to get in the area, so that's kind of a requirement. And then as well as 70 prayer. I marked that as a requirement because using those boosting prayers that you can get after the King's Ransom quest is really going to help you out a lot. However, of course, if you have 95 prayer for the curses, that's going to be your best bet. A Herblore level isn't required because you can do this with super magic potions and be okay. Obviously, overloads help quite a bit, but it's not really a requirement, while all these other stats are going to struggle a lot if you don't at least have some of the minimum levels. For the gear setups here, I have a low level / low cash gear setup, as well as a medium level where maybe you have a little bit more cash, can afford some slightly nicer stuff, and then a high level setup where this is just about the best stuff that you're going to be wearing, other than switching that out for Virtus armor, depending on how much of an easy time you want Zamorak to be. So for the low level, you just want to wear Ganodermic armor. I would recommend that. Ganodermic boots and gloves. I also have War Priest boots and gloves because those can help out as well, since they provide better defense to all combat styles. Seer's Ring is nice. Also, if you're a low level, I would recommend wearing a Sign of Life. I do have a Chaotic Staff equipped. However, if you don't have that, you can do this with a Staff of Light. It's not going to hit nearly as well, but it is something that you can try out and definitely can hit Zamorak with it. I wouldn't recommend planning on doing long Zamorak solo trips if you only have a Staff of Light though. And then for the medium, I just switched out the Ganodermic for subjugation robes, as well as a Ring of Vigor, as you will be using a lot of Sunshine. I'm assuming if you're kind of a medium tier player, you probably have that unlocked, as well as a Shard of Zeros, which protects you against all of the creatures in the dungeon. And the Slayer Helm is because you can get Greater Demons as a task, and that is the best time to kill Zammy. For the high level, I'm wearing Sea Singers along with Spellcaster gloves, as well as Ragefire boots, and these are going to give you some good defensive bonuses. Also, the Spellcaster gloves have a special attack now where they have a 1% chance to deal 25% extra damage, so that can be really nice over time. And I also have a Attuned Ectoplasmator. That's the item that's equipped in the lower right corner of the screen, and what this item does is it's essentially a bone crusher for an Infernal Ashes. I'll show you how to make one in just a second, but this thing is really nice because it does work with the Demon Horn necklace as well, so that's what leads to the unlimited prayer that I was referring to earlier. For melee, we only have one setup, and this is for Drygores and Tetsu. I really would not recommend meleeing at lower stats, so if you don't have the highest melee stats and you don't have Drygores or you don't have decent melee armor, I would really recommend going with the magic because you're going to have a much better time with it. However, if you do want to melee and you do have the Drygores and you can do good damage and also have some decent armor to protect yourself, this is the setup that you want to use. Again, Attuned Ectoplasmator with the Demon Horn necklace for that unlimited prayer. And I have the Goliath gloves, which have the same special effect as those Spellcaster gloves do, as well as Steadfast boots. And then that is a Scrimshot of Vampirism in the lower right hand corner. Does the same thing as the Vampirism Aura, except it heals slightly more. And those, along with the Vampirism Aura, is really going to give you a lot of healing along with your Soul Split, and you should be able to stay as long as you want, as long as you have this better gear. One final thing we want to go over before we get going is the inventory setups. So again, the low level / mid level stuff, where if you don't have overloads, it's pretty much the same thing. You just swap out not having overloads for super magic flasks instead, and they're going to boost your magic level a little bit less. And then at the higher levels, you want to have the overloads, as well as the item in the lower corner of the screen that you might not recognize is called the Spring Cleaner. You can get this as a rare drop off of Treasure Hunter, and what you can set it to do is to crush weapons and armor so that you don't have to pick them up off the ground. And so if you don't have a yak, or if you don't want to use your yak to bank stuff, this can be a really nice way of having that profit still go into your bank from the rune scimitars and whatever, and you don't actually have to pick it up. So how you get that Attuned Ectoplasmator that I've been speaking so highly of lately is you have to get a regular Ectoplasmator. It's a rare drop from really any type of ghost in the game, and then you need 100 Ghostly Essence, which is kind of expensive at the moment, but it is also rapidly dropping in price, so it shouldn't be too bad. You just use it on there and it becomes the Attuned Ectoplasmator, and then it's 1 Ghostly Essence for every 10 charges. You can buy this stuff off the GE. So how we actually get to there is you want to teleport to Trollheim, or you can teleport directly to Gawar's dungeon if you have completed the quest The Mighty Fall, and this requires, you know, Egar's Ruse quest completed to teleport to Trollheim, so just make sure you have that done, because if you don't have that done, it's a really, really long run, and it's not going to be very fun. Also, just make sure if you don't have that Shard of Zeros that you do have a Zamorak item equipped. You really don't need any other type of item, because we're going directly into the Zamorak's fortress where there's only Zamorak creatures, so those are the only ones you have to be worried about. So if you are a lower level and you don't have the Zero Shard, one handy thing to equip to protect yourself from Zamorak would be the Cape of Zamorak from the God Arenas. And then you want to kill Spiritual Mages if you have the Slayer level. If not, you can kill Spiritual Warriors, which I believe require level 68 Slayer. And if you don't even have that, just kill Werewolves and Imps for your kill count. So for the low level Zamorak killing method, it's fairly easy. What you want to make sure that you have on your action bar is you want to make sure you have multi-target abilities as the first two. So I would recommend the abilities Chain and Dragon Breath, because you want these going off as much as possible so you can damage Zamorak and his minions. I'd also recommend putting Sacrifice on your ability bar for a little bit of extra healing as soon as it goes off cooldown. So you want to get up to your maximum amount of adrenaline, and then you can use either Metamorphosis or you can use Sunshine if you already have it unlocked, and this will grant you a whole bunch of bonus damage so you can get Zamorak down a lot faster. If you do have Augury unlocked after the King's Ransom quest, you can feel free to turn that on, and that'll boost your damage by a little bit as well. And finally, the only other ability that you need to worry about is the Debilitate ability. This is on the defensive abilities spellbook, so you want to make sure that you're using this one against Zamorak, because he does use a special attack where you can hit up to 5k, and that Debilitate, if you get it off before he uses a special attack, it will half his damage, but it only lasts for 8 seconds. Typically what I like to do is I like to wait about 21 seconds and then use the Debilitate, because Zammy can use his special attack anytime after the first 20 seconds have passed. So you want to be really careful about that and make sure you're using that, and there will be some kills where you get unlucky and he will wait a little bit longer than normal to use his special attack, and then you're going to get owned and you're going to be dealt a lot of damage, but hopefully you will be able to get most of those off on the Debilitate. Just make sure to use Debilitate again as soon as it's off cooldown, and hopefully you will be able to dodge most of his really hard hitting special attacks. The medium level is going to go just about the same way as the low level will, so we'll just go straight into the high level because this might have some tactics in it that you may or may not have unlocked in the medium level. If you are in a fast spawn instance, you want to start off your first kill as normal using your thresholds, and then from then every kill then on you want to start off every single Zamorak spawn with Sunshining at the very start of the kill, or if you're not in a fast spawn instance, get up to Sunshine as soon as possible and use that. Again, the same thing with Debilitate, wait about 21 seconds to use it, and Zammy can use that special attack anytime after the first 20 seconds have passed. So again, it depends a little bit on luck, but since you are a high level and you'll be in much better armor, and you will also have the Soul Split ability unlocked, so you'll be able to get most of your health back as you continue to hit enemies, this won't be as much of a problem. I found myself with using Soul Split as well as the Vampirism Aura, there is absolutely no need for food, and again I have that Attuned Ectoplasmator, which is going to destroy all the Infernal Ashes that both Zamorak and his minions drop, and this is all the prayer that you need as long as you're killing him fast enough. Occasionally you might run really low on prayer, but you can always use the altar every single 10 minutes, and that's going to make up for any more prayer that you might want. So bring a couple emergency super restores, especially to restore your summoning pouch, but other than that you really don't even need prayer potions, which is awesome. So now we go into the melee kill of Zamorak, and this one is a little bit sketchy because unfortunately with the melee attack in Zamorak you're going to take more damage because you're getting dealt a lot of magical damage by Zammy and one of his minions, which hits really hard, and so you're going to be taking a lot. But you can also have a very high damage output, and if you have that Scrimshaw as well as the Vampirism Aura and Soul Split, you should be completely fine as long as you are not getting one banged by his special attack. So if you are in a fast spawn instance and you want to use Berserk, it's a very viable option, but what you need to do is you need to wait until there's a couple seconds left for Zammy to spawn. You will get the hang of the exact time when he spawns after a little bit of experience with this, and then you want to Zerk on that last of the 3 minions just before it dies. And the reason why you want to do that is so if Zamorak uses his special attack on the Zerk, and he can do this if he uses his special attack the second his special attack becomes available to him, it is an unlucky thing, but it will happen to you eventually. He can hit up to 9k, and that might one bang you if you don't have more life points than that. I've had it happen to me a couple times, but the easy fix for that is just Zerk on that last out of the 3 minions before Zammy spawns, and then your Zerk is going to run out before Zammy even has a chance to use his special. And this also means you can possibly build a little bit of adrenaline on that last minion and get your thresholds off sooner on Zamorak. I don't like melee nearly as much as mage, because mage is just a lot easier personally, but it is a viable option. So the very last thing we're going to be talking about is rewards. And again, it would be really hard to calculate the rewards for everyone that can do Zammy, so just keep in mind that these rewards are factoring in that you are doing a fast spawn instance at Zammy, and you are using level 90 gear with overloads and turmoil. So if you don't have the requirements to do that, you're going to get a lot less kills per hour than this, and you're not going to get nearly as much GP and XP per hour. But for you lower or mid-tier players, don't see this as a discouragement. See as more this is something you can work towards in the future. Eventually unlock that cool stuff to be able to kill Zammy this fast, and then you'll be able to really reap in the rewards. So it's 9.1k combat XP per kill. That is killing Zammy and all 3 minions. It's also 2.3k Slayer XP per kill if you are on task, and that is killing Zammy as well as the one of his 3 minions that gives a Slayer XP drop, as well as 500 prayer XP per kill, which is using the Attuned Ectoplasmator, which is going to scatter those infernal ashes for you. So overall, this is 70 kills per hour, which is pretty much as fast as you can get from my testing by using either melee with Zerking or magic with using Sunshine at the start of every single kill with those tier 90 weapons and all that cool stuff that's going to make the kills go as fast as possible. The profit per hour is between 4 to 5 mil. That really depends on your luck though. Zamorak God Wars is a very, very luck based boss, as he has 2 drops that are worth a decent amount, the Garb and the Gown, as well as the Zammy Spear is a fairly decent drop as well. So if you're getting drops like Subjugation Boots or Zamorak Hilts, you're probably not going to make as much. But again, it just really depends on luck, and if you are getting those 70 kills per hour, you can average over a drop an hour, because you can get about a 1 in 68 drop chance at the God Wars dungeon, or if you have a Ring of Wealth equipped, it's about a 1 in 63. So definitely expect to get a lot of drops here if you are killing him that fast. That's about all for this Zamorak guide. Thank you guys a lot for watching, and I should be coming out with the Saradomin guide fairly soon, probably within the next week or 2. I wish you all good luck at Zamorak, getting lots of drops and making your bank even larger, and I hope to see all of you on streams or just on tomorrow's video. Farewell.
We'll be right back.